The next time you're in the downtown and walking on our city streets, you might notice someone working there. It just might be Stephen Stoller, the city's very own street artist.
My passion as an artist is to express the beautiful in ways that has never been expressed before, even if it shakes people up at first because they don't recognize beauty constructed in such a manner because it's new to them. But in the work is a seed of familiarity where anyone that looks at the work can link onto something and say, well, that's human, that's alive, and that is art.
Much of this expression of beauty centers around the city, its shapes and angles, the people who fill the streets. All become elements of Stoller's canvases. You may have seen his work displayed on the walls of Amici's restaurant. Or perhaps you've chanced upon the artist himself as he walks down the street, canvas in hand, searching for just the right location at just the right moment. Stoller lives on the near south side with his 6 children and his wife, who he credits for the support and belief that fuels his creative drive. Art is his passion, a passion he hopes to share with those who watch him.
I have some conversations on the street, but more and more people are letting me get to work, and what they can learn by watching me work is far more than I could really say. I mean, it's just to see how paint is moved from the jars to the palette, and how it's mixed, and how the canvas is approached right there. To see a sensitive stroke take place, or to see a painting go off and come back, and to see the true sensitivity of an oil painting, that one delicate stroke, you know, in the brow can knock something way off, and then a little bit else gets it back, and the balance is achieved is astounding to people on the street, but it doesn't require a conversation. I don't believe that one can teach art. One can inspire if one wishes to. But art is a very difficult path. And oftentimes on the street, a younger person will come up and be naturally very inspired, and I'll be a little bit, make sure you know what you want before you enter into this particular field, because it can be so gruesome and so difficult to make it financially and in society.
The energy of the street can be exhilarating, but working in the open does bring troubles as well as inspiration.
When I'm working on a street painting, I really have no time to start finessing the paint. I'm working from another place. I make all the paint by hand from pigments in jars before I start on the street. My palette is clean. I start out underpainting softly and working, and some paintings go right along that way. A painting done today might be soft and gentle and not too bold and not too much paint. But then on a winter's day when I'm cold and it's cold and I know that the only way to paint that is cold, then I'll take the jar and I'll put paint on the palette, and I'll take the paint onto my brush, and I'll want to throw that paint into place. I want that place to whip and curl with contours that have come through an understanding of doing it. And that's why oftentimes when I said to you before, it makes no difference if it's warm or cold or snowy or rainy, because sometimes it's the cold element that gets me to the points of work that I want to be at, to where paint is blending and moving, and I'm in a control that a studio could never offer me. You know, it's like Jackson Pollock throwing the paint, but I want to throw it figuratively.
Stoller may be better known for working in the open, but he also works within the controlled atmosphere of his studio, which does affect his work.
The studio work is usually, not always, but usually well-studied, well-contemplated works. I work from drawings, I work from thoughts and dreams and just basic contemplations. And it takes months and months, and I'm into very delicate strokes and understandings and anatomical concerns. On the street, I try to do just the opposite if I can.
In addition to his street and studio paintings, Stoller is also working with geometric images in oil and wood assemblages. Just in case you don't run into Steve on the street, you can also see his work at the 431 Gallery through the middle of May and at Amici's Restaurant. For Indiana Arts, I'm Kathy Miller. Now back to a very busy arts calendar.